It's really because I don't like vinegar, but the thing is, I used to hate the smell of it too, but the smell of the hot sauce mixed with everything else just smells so good right now, so I definitely think I'm... Merry meet and welcome. I'm Taylor, and today we're going to get started with fried stuff with cheese. So for this, because you know we're here to support our mental, emotional, physical energy, we are going to do it in phases. So we are going to be preparing the pickles with their marinade overnight, and then we're going to be frying them up tomorrow and making the cheese tomorrow. Just all makes sense for everything and to support everything. Anyways, so yeah, so we're not going to be doing everything right this moment, but this is another great recipe that can be broken down if you are feeling like anxious, if you're feeling like upset in any kind of way. And then there's nothing to be said either to, like, I'm choosing to do this overnight, but you could easily like just have this marinate. I think it says for just up to 4 hours in the fridge, so that's kind of a long time, but oh well. Anyways, moving past that, let's go ahead and just get started. Merry meet again. So here we are. This is our vegan buttermilk. So right now we're using about half a cup to half a tablespoon plant-based milk to lemon juice. You can kind of see that it's already gotten like curled around the edges. So just stirring that, just typical buttermilk as you need and make. And so yeah, with that, that's going to be the base for our marinade. From there, we're going to go ahead and add in a tablespoon of mustard. I don't have mustard powder, so that's why we're just going to be using straight mustard. That was a little hard to see, forgot how opaque milk can be. And then we have a tablespoon of garlic powder, and then it's supposed to be 2 tablespoons of Old Bay seasoning. I ran out, so it's probably like a tablespoon and a half. But yep, we're gonna mix that in there too. And then for taste, we're going to mix in some hot sauce. So just depends on what you like. I'm kind of leaning a little bit hotter, and so I probably did about 2 tablespoons, which isn't a lot, so I may add in more. But yeah, this is going to be our marinade. We're just going to mix this up. I'm going to add a little bit more hot sauce. I love sriracha so much. Like I love adding like like vegan mayo and sriracha and any other extra goodies that I can to corn. Oh, so good. Anyways, what is it, elote? Yeah, obviously I don't have crema or an easy vegan replacement, so that's why I just do those 2 ingredients. Sorry. Okay, so she specifically called for sandwich dill chips. So these were so hard to find. I'm not sure if it's because they're either so popular that they were like out, or if they were or if they're actually the opposite and not very popular. So anyways, let's go ahead, and for this amount, technically it would be like, oh, only 5, but because it's a marinade and whatnot, I'm actually just kind of gonna do however many pickles I can fit. And yeah, and we're gonna mix them in together. So there's about 3. Try and drain them a little bit. See, because there's 5. And I could see how that could be enough marinade, but I say we just kind of like keep going. As you can tell, I really don't, a good thing all these pickles are for me. I don't even really eat pickles, is also part of it, so clean surface. So that is also why I'm like, well, it's probably gonna be better fried and hot. Okay, this is what I mean, like I feel like I can still add more pickles. And like I feel like even if I have leftovers of these, like wouldn't it just be a way to elevate your sandwich? Okay, I think that's gonna do it. Because I do want them to be immersed in the marinade itself. And there's just enough edges popping out that I don't want to add more. Okay, so literally what we're gonna do is what I said earlier, is we're going to go ahead and let this marinade overnight in the fridge. And we're just going to, oh, of course it's this one. So there's only one bowl where it's hard to like put it all on. But anyways, of course when I have all this liquid right next to me. So I'm gonna let this marinate overnight, but you can make this a same day treat. It just needs at least about four hours. Well, it says up to 4 hours, so I'm like, with that wording, I'm like, am I overdoing it by marinating this long? Maybe. Maybe it doesn't matter. So we're just gonna test it out, and you guys can let me know if you tried this out. With that, I'll see you next time. Merry meet again. So here we are, we're gonna get started with making the cheese. I also sincerely recommend reading your recipes ahead of time. Even though it's something I truly believe in, I sometimes do not do it, especially if it's something that I read a while ago and I'm like, oh yeah, pretty standard, and keep moving forward. I don't know how I got it in my head. I thought this was a melted cheese. Maybe it's the American coming through, because I'm just like, of course it would be like a nacho cheese kind of type that you would use, but it's not. It's actually like a cold cheese that we just blend together. So we're not doing the variations that we're doing. Shouldn't hurt too much. They are just your standard like non-dairy swaps. The only thing I'll say though is because cheese does act very differently, vegan versus cow versus animal, I guess, and in the way that it melts and blends with others. So I'm hoping that we still get the same desired results using the blender. With it melting, I had no problems, because I was just like, oh yeah, I know it'll all melt, and if anything, it's just the like, how long does it stay liquidy? So hopefully with this we actually just get a really great all-around thing, and it stays spreadable super easily, or dippable, I guess I should say. Anyways, let's get started. So we're using BioLife today. This is because this was the only, I talk to you guys about my vegan struggles out here all the time. This was the only one that had cheddar shreds. I thought about slicing up, like dicing up some actual slices, and I wasn't liking how that was looking, and so I was just like, I know there has to be some shredded cheddar somewhere, and so I went and found it, and BioLife was the only one that I found that carried them. And so it calls for 2 cups, which is literally the entire package. And with that, then we have our ½ cup of vegan sour cream. So I'm not I don't know, you can kind of see it, but it just like plopped onto the blade. So hopefully that gets mixed. And then we also have ½ cup of vegan mayonnaise. Let me grab my little spatula tool. So I do believe it's because of adding like all this extra fat, it's going to help it kind of like maintain a more liquid shape or form. So we shall see. I've never made a cheese blend like this, if I'm being perfectly honest, but it seems super simple. Honestly, it gives me major party vibes. So we use this real quick to get this other stuff off. So I feel like this would be like a really fun like summer dish, you know, or just the cheese itself to even bring, and like with other things to dip into it. And then we have, so we don't have vegan Worcestershire sauce. I just personally didn't want to buy it for a few recipes. So I'm using soy sauce instead, because that typically is a good replacement for it, because you're looking to replace the umami, a little bit of the sodium, and the soy sauce I use has less sodium in it intentionally as well. So I'm only using about 1.5 tablespoons, because I want to be a little bit more careful when doing those kind of swaps that can affect the flavor, and soy sauce can be like I can smell it, you know, so I want to be careful it doesn't taste just like soy sauce, no matter how delicious it is. And then we have all of our spices. So we have garlic and then onion. And then we also have some just pepper and salt. Those are typically to taste, but it's because I know myself. I kind of know how much I'm going to want to use. But it's just a tablespoon of the garlic and onion powders and then salt and pepper to taste. And you guys know me, I like to try to get it all around. And then last but certainly not least, we have our sliced pimentos, making this the pimento cheese that we're looking for. I will share, this was, I had to go to Walmart and I had to Google where to find these. It was the only place. I went to like my normal spots and nowhere had them. So I had to start like Googling it, and then it took me a minute to even find them. So they're exactly probably where you would think. It's just, again, due to the area that I live in, but I just wanted to let you know. Definitely like maybe look up your store first. That's one of the great things about technology nowadays, is that you can see if it's something that they have available in store before you even head out. If this is something you want to do, you probably can do different peppers, but because it was pimento cheese, I was like, oh, I kind of have to do my best to find it. So she says to dice them. These are already sliced. We're putting them in a blender, not doing more to that. And she also says to reserve some, to use some of the liquid. I'm just putting this whole jar in here because I want to support the cheese in its entirety. But yeah, and then you have a nice little jar if you want to save that. Okay, and so now we're just going to go ahead and blend this up. Merry meet again. So here we are. We have our finished pimento cheese. I'm not gonna lie to you, this smells so good. I definitely think that you could, again, bring this as a party dish and just have like some other things to help dip into it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the fried pickles we're preparing today. But also, I feel like you could really enhance this. Like, I feel like I kind of showed you the most tame version you probably could do. And I feel like you could really like mix up the peppers, you could add different spices, and really make this into a very fun vegan cheese. Personally, I love how much it smells. So good. Personally, I love using vegan cheeses in the morning to on like avocado toast or things like that, if I'm having toast with like just egg or something like that, because it is, I'm using a very small spatula and it is showing with how difficult the difficulty I'm having with getting all of this. Let's see if it'll anyways, because having a little bit of fat in the morning is, fat is actually what's going to help you stay like full longer. So if you're having like a morning that's like full of protein, you need to add a little, and you're finding yourself getting hungry within a few hours, that's why. And so that's why this is how I like to add it, because I'm always afraid I'm not getting enough protein. So I used to always try to add protein into my stuff. Actually why I like making my own vegan cheese, because I feel like store-bought vegan cheese has absolutely no protein, but if you make it yourself, all of a sudden it's packed with protein. And I'm like, what do they do that's different? Especially the cashew cheese. It's like, I'm also making cashew cheese. But yeah, anyways, thanks for being here while I'm just like scraping this, because essentially what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead, grab our pickles out of the fridge. It says to let them rest an hour beforehand. So this is something, again, you can make ahead of time. So like the pickles marinate overnight. Like you can make this already, and then you like, I don't think they have to go together is my point. And I think you can break both steps into like multiple things. So if you can marinate the pickles one day and then you can make the cheese on the other day, or if you're like, I don't want to have to make the cheese and fry the pickles on the same day, you can make the cheese the same time when you're marinating the pickles, because a lot of that is just like adding things together. Okay, I think that's going to be the best I'm going to be able to get it. It's so good. Very excited to be able to dip some fried stuff in this. So I'll see you in just a few minutes. Merry meet again. So here we are to finish up with our pickles. I will tell you guys, I know I said I don't like pickles, but it's really because I don't like vinegar. But the thing is, I used to hate the smell of it too, but the smell of the hot sauce mixed with everything else just smells so good right now. So I definitely think I'm gonna enjoy eating these, which is a great sign. But yeah, if you like hot pickles, this is definitely a recipe to try. So, I also totally messed up. So, same recipe, right? You still read through them. I know I just got done like talking to you about that with the pimento cheese itself, but the I also didn't fully read this, so a lot of times with recipes, they will either group together their spices or separate them, or like note that like it'll be used in 2 different things. And so she did do that. She did state like, oh, use this much spices in your marinade, and I just ignored that. I just was like, oh yeah, I'm adding the spices, and like I just didn't even like notice that she had actually put numbers next to it, and so it was completely on me. But so half the spices were supposed to go in the marinade and half of them were supposed to go into here. I didn't do that, so I ended up I have the flour and cornstarch in here along with some spices, but as you know, I'm out of Old Bay, so we're just gonna have to go with it. Worst case scenario, it's a little bit of a plain breading. So this is my first time doing like a long marinade because I'm notoriously impatient when it comes to food. So I say notoriously, meaning I've told you guys about it. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna use this fork and we're gonna get these breaded. I'm also a believer of like you like keep a little bit of the mixture and whatnot because it'll help like add to the thing. But okay, so I know we have more. We're just gonna lightly toss these to get them buried a little bit before just adding more. And then we'll just literally take this, and these are with a lid, so if you want, again, have fun with kids, you can, or just have fun yourself. Why do I always have to bring up kids? Treat your inner child. You can physically shake up the thing here. I know. I think I'm just thinking about like with toddlers, like sometimes it's so hard to like cook with them around, and you kind of need like something to like occupy them, and like, because a lot of times they just want to hang out with you, and that's the biggest thing. Okay, so reasonable to be expected. I actually probably will just end up using this fork, so let me just turn some of these. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then as you guys know, I do not have a deep fryer, so we're just going to be like frying these in our pan with some light oil. I feel like I'm losing some of it if I toss too much more with the fork. So we're gonna go ahead, take this over to our frying pan, and I'll see you guys over there. Merry meet and welcome back. So here we are frying it up. I have some oil here, it's been heating. And then, so yeah, my plan is to just kind of get this to go as good as possible with the pickles that we have. I think I meant to use a bigger pan, but too late now. Crowding should not affect this for our purposes, what we're trying to accomplish. And then, since it can't be completely deep fried, I just have to actually flip these over. And that's just the reality we all have to live with. I have 3 more, but they just won't fit, so we will have to do those separate. Did I forget to prepare a plate? Yes. Okay, so those look pretty decent. I'm gonna go ahead, flip them. You can kind of see how the leftover oil is, or not oil, flour that like didn't stick or was like stuck to the fork is kind of coating the bottom of this. Sorry, trying to make sure I can get these. I have it on like medium high heat, which, as you guys know, like gets hot so fast. Okay. These will be so curious to have. I'm glad I kind of have like different cooks on them. Okay, I'm gonna grab this one. Yeah. Oops. I literally have a spatula right next to me. Instead, I'm just like, why not almost burn myself trying to get these in and out? Ridiculous. You can kind of see my pan is, unfortunately, like, some of it is getting very hot, so we want to be very careful. I only have 3 more left to do. Marry again. I know this is a little bit of weird angle, and I kind of just cut off the last video, but I wanted to take care of that pan because it's starting to smoke, and I'm just like, better safe than sorry. So I went ahead and took care of what needed to be taken care of. But here we are with our fried stuff with cheese, our fried pickles with some pimento cheese. This is the most I've ever fried something, by the way. Okay, guys, that is so good. And I mean it. Like, with the pickle, the cheese, all of it comes together so well. I definitely think, I talked a little bit about this before. Definitely you could use both of these to enhance your sandwiches. And if you're really trying to, like, I don't know, throw a curveball at some of your friends, I think this would be a really fun thing to do. Because if people, and like, I think people who are like, oh, I like pickles, but like just on my burger, they should still try this because it's so good and kind of like gives that kind of taste. Honestly, it reminds me of eating pickles on a fried chicken sandwich. Oh, yum. You know what I mean. The CK, the chicken without an I, without the vowels, the vegan chicken. Anyways, so yeah, definitely recommend. I'm gonna go ahead, finish eating these, maybe prepare a whole nother batch for tomorrow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.